Psalm 78. Give ear, my people, to my teaching. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings from of old, things that we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children, telling to the come generation the glorious deeds of the Lord, and his mighty. He established a covenant in Jacob, and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, to teach to their children, that the next generation might know them, the children yet unborn, and arise and tell them to their children, that they should set their hope in God, and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments, and that they should not be like their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation whose heart was not steadfast, whose spirit was not faithful with God. The Ephraimites, armed with the bow, turned back on the day of battle. They didn't keep God's covenant, and refused to walk according to his law. They forgot his works, and the wonders that he had shown them. In the sight of their fathers, he performed wonders. In the land of Egypt, in the field of Zoan, he divided the sea and let them to pass through it, and made the waters stand like a heap. In the daytime he led them with a cloud, and all night with a fiery light. He split rocks in the wilderness, and gave them drink abundantly as out of the depths. He brought streams also out of the rock, and caused waters to flow down like rivers. Yet they sinned still more against him, rebelling against the Most High in the desert. They tempted God in their heart, by asking food according to their desire. They spoke against God. They said, "Can God prepare a table in the wilderness?" He struck the rock, so that waters gushed out, and streams overflowed. Can he give bread, provide meat for his people? Therefore the Lord heard and was angry. A fire was kindled against Jacob. His anger also went up against Israel, because they didn't believe in God, and didn't trust in his salvation. Yet he commanded the skies above, and opened the doors of heaven. He rained down manna on them to eat, and gave them the grain of heaven. Man ate the bread of angels. He sent them food in abundance. He caused the east wind to blow in the sky. By his power he guided the south wind. He rained meat on them like the dust, winged birds like the sand of the seas. He let them fall in the middle of their camp, all around their dwellings. And they ate and were well filled. He gave them what they craved. But before they had satisfied their cravings, while food was still in their mouths, the anger of God rose against them, and he killed the strongest of them, and laid low the young men of Israel. For all this they still sinned, and didn't believe in his wondrous works. So he made their days vanish like a breath, and their years in terror. When he killed them, then they sought him. They repented and sought God earnestly. They remembered that God was their rock, the Most High God, their Redeemer. But they flattered him with their mouth, and lied to him with their tongue. For their heart was not right with him, neither were they faithful in his covenant. Yet he, being compassionate, atoned for their iniquity, and didn't destroy them. He restrained his anger often, and didn't stir up all his wrath. He remembered that they were but flesh, a wind that passes away and doesn't come again. How often they rebelled against him in the wilderness, and grieved him in the desert. They tested God again and again, and provoked the Holy One of Israel. They didn't remember his power, nor the day when he redeemed them from the adversary, when he performed his signs in Egypt, his wonders in the field of Zoan. He turned their rivers into blood, and their streams, so that they could not drink. He sent among them swarms of flies, which devoured them, and frogs, which destroyed them. He gave their crops to the destroying locust, and the fruit of their labor to the locust. He destroyed their vines with hail, their sycamore with frost. He gave over their cattle to the hail, and their flocks to the thunderbolts. He let loose on them his burning anger, wrath, indignation, and distress, and a company of destroying angels. He made a path for his anger. He didn't spare them from death, but gave their life over to the plague. He struck all the firstborn in Egypt, the first fruits of their strength in the tents of Ham. Then he led out his people like sheep, and guided them in the wilderness like a flock. He led them safely, so that they weren't afraid, but the sea overwhelmed their enemies. He brought them to his holy land, to this mountain which his right hand won. He drove out the nations before them. He apportioned them for a possession, and settled the tribes of Israel in their tents. Yet they tempted and rebelled against the Most High God, and didn't keep his testimonies, but turned away and acted treacherously like their fathers. They were twisted like a deceitful bow, for they provoked him to anger with their high places. They moved him to jealousy with their idols. When God heard this, he was angry, and he utterly rejected Israel. He forsook his dwelling at Shiloh, the tent where he dwelt among mankind, and delivered his strength into captivity, his glory into the adversary's hand. He gave his people over to the sword, and was angry with his inheritance. Fire devoured their young men, and their young women had no marriage song. Their priests fell by the sword, and their widows couldn't weep. Then the Lord awakened as one out of sleep, like a mighty man who shouts by reason of wine. He struck his adversaries to rout. He put them to everlasting shame. He rejected the tent of Joseph, and didn't choose the tribe of Ephraim, but he chose the tribe of Judah, Mount Zion, which he loves. He built his sanctuary like the high heavens, like the earth which he has founded forever. He chose David, his servant, and took him from the sheepfolds, from following the ewes that have their young. He brought him to be the shepherd of Jacob, his people, and Israel, his inheritance. With upright heart he shepherded them, and guided them with his skillful hand,